Jessica here. I'm the photographer and videographer at Sharuk Studios, and welcome back to another YouTube video, or welcome if this is your first time here, first time watcher. So in today's video, I wanted to share my 3 lessons that I learned while I was traveling abroad. So if you follow me on Instagram, or maybe you kind of read my blog, or you've seen my other videos on my YouTube channel, such as my travel vlogs, then you'll know that I just got back from traveling Europe for 4 months with my sister. Now, before this trip, I've only ever gone on vacations for like a week at a time, and then I did go to Europe for 3 weeks a few summers ago, and I just found I learned a lot about myself when I did that. So I was like, what am I gonna learn this time when I'm traveling for like such a longer period of time? What I came back with was like life lessons that I really did not expect, and I wanted to share them all with you. Okay guys, so I'm just gonna dive right in and tell you about my 3 lessons I learned while living abroad. So the first one was all about living minimally. I was traveling Europe for 4 months and I could only bring 1 suitcase and 1 carry-on. So I had to really narrow down what I was gonna bring with me. It was really important for me to bring my camera and my laptop because I knew I was going to be taking lots of photos and creating lots of videos while I was away. And I also kind of splurged and bought a drone before I left. So my laptop, camera, and drone all had to come with me like on the plane, like as my carry-on, because I didn't trust putting them in my suitcase. And also you have to bring drones in your carry-on, in case you didn't know that and you were going to bring one on your next trip. So I always had to bring those items with me on my carry-on. And then you're gone for so long, you're gonna need lots of clothes. You need like your basic toiletries and like for girls like makeup, like hair stuff, that sort of thing. But I had to just really kind of like pick my favorite things, like just only like a couple pairs of jeans or pants, like a couple dresses. Like I only brought 3 pairs of shoes the whole time I was gone. Brought like a small makeup bag, and I just brought my curling iron as my only like hair thing. So yeah, I really didn't bring a lot. Like my suitcase was large, but it wasn't that large. And I left behind like a huge wardrobe of clothes, and I obviously have lots of just like knickknacks and like things in my room and in my house that I couldn't bring with me. So yeah, this was very different for me, but I absolutely loved it. I just found that by bringing my like most favorite things, the things I need every day, it was just made the whole trip less stressful. And like I just don't need so much stuff. I didn't need so many items, and like no one needs the clutter. Like clutter is stressful. And what I found too was that I was traveling for 4 months with so few belongings and not even like a permanent address, and I was happy. I was getting along fine. I was, if anything, like thriving. I was like really enjoying myself. So it was very freeing to know that I don't need so many possessions to make me happy and to like live my life. I only need a few things. A big thing that people are tied to, you know, they stay working in jobs they hate because they're like, well, I can't, you know, pursue my passion. I can't start a business. I can't change career paths. I can't go back to school and do what I really want to do because I need to keep this job, because I need to pay my rent for this apartment that I have. I need to pay a mortgage. I need to be able to buy things. Maybe they shop a lot, or they just feel like they need a lot of things in their life to like live it fully and to be happy with it. But once you realize you can like let all those things go and you don't need it to be happy and you get along just fine, it's very freeing. Like I feel amazing. Like came home and I have this closet full of clothes, but it's funny because I still gravitate towards the few pieces that I brought with me in Europe. And I thought that after traveling for so long, I would be like so sick of those clothes, but no, I still like them just as much. So traveling just made me really reevaluate, I guess, what I'm spending my money on and not feeling so tied to possessions and to material things. And then now I'm just feeling much more open to, I can travel again some more, or I can move cities, or I can just kind of shape my days to how I want to, now that I'm not so focused on, oh, what am I gonna buy next? Like what are my friends buying? Like what are people doing at this age? Like I don't need, like I didn't have a car when I was over there, so I don't really need a car. Like I don't really need to own property at this age. Like basically this whole minimal lifestyle, what it really taught was what being free and feeling free actually feels like. Because, you know, not being tied to anything is what I think is what freedom is. Like, you're not feeling stuck, and it is the best feeling, in my opinion, one of the best feelings out there. And I found this lesson came at the perfect time for me because I'm planning on moving out soon. I'm back home with my family after being away. Like, it was nice not having to pay rent for a few months, and now I'm just like ready to go out on my own again and like live in a big city because I really miss big city life. And I'm like, I can just bring a suitcase. Like, I don't need to bring all this furniture. I don't need to bring like all of my shit basically with me. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. It's just making my life way easier, and I can just really focus on the things that matter, and I can focus on like spending my money on things that matter to me. Like, experiences matter to me, the people I care about matter to me, doing things I love every day, that's what matters to me, and that's how I'm gonna like spend my time and my money. And I know after living with just one suitcase of items that I'm gonna be fine, and I'm gonna, if anything, be happier that way. Okay, so my second lesson I learned while I was traveling Europe is really what true happiness is and how to experience it daily. When I was planning this whole Europe trip, I guess I really just thought I would get there and feel like euphoric, like I made it, I made this huge goal come true, like I manifested this, like this is what I wanted, life's gonna be amazing, every moment's gonna be so magical, and I'm just gonna be like so happy all the time. But really, big, exciting days or moments or experiences are just kind of like filled with very ordinary things. When you're traveling, you're at this beautiful location and you're taking all these nice photos, and you just think it's gonna be so much like grander and like magical than what it is. Like, happiness, I guess, isn't just trying to fill your life with these like really big special moments and experiences. It's taking time to appreciate the little ordinary things in a day, and to just find joy and to create more fun in all the things that you do. I think a big thing was just learning that my happiness is solely my responsibility and I'm in control of it. Like, no outside person or circumstance can influence that if I take control. And just another thing I learned about being happy, which a friend told me, and I just found this to be really true, and I didn't realize it for a long time, but you know, happiness is about enjoying the process, it's about enjoying the journey. It's not about reaching the final destination. Because if you're only looking forward to reaching a final destination, you're gonna be unhappy for 99% of the time that you're working towards that destination. So now that I realize that it's not about going to this cool place or like making a certain amount of money or working with a client, it's about all the little steps it takes to get there and just really having fun with it and really enjoying it. And if you don't like the process of something, then you should not be doing it. If you hate what all the little steps it takes to get to the end goal, then you're on the wrong path. Like, I think of it this way. You need to find something that you enjoy doing and you would do regardless if you made money from it or if other people saw what you were doing and like gave you praise. And to touch on more about not looking for happiness in like outside circumstances, I just think that, and I've done this too, and I think a lot of people do it, but you need to stop looking for happiness in a partner, in a job, in a vacation, in a new city, in any of those things that you think are going to bring you happiness. Happiness really truly starts on the inside, and it wasn't until this trip that I fully grasped what that meant and how I could control that. Because I was in Europe and I thought that I would be so happy just because I was there, and I wasn't for a little bit. And I realized that it's because I handed over my control to that whole experience, and I thought that would just make me happy. But no, and I realized it's my responsibility to do that, and it's my responsibility to be appreciative every day and grateful and to make ordinary days more fun. And my last lesson that I learned while traveling was to really take chances, like take more chances, because what's the worst that can happen? Now, I've heard again from lots of people, they're nervous to make big changes in their life because what if it all goes wrong? What if nothing works out? And I think that sometimes too for myself, and I'm like, oh, I want to move cities, I want to change career paths, I want to, I don't know, just make big changes. And a lot of the time when you think about what's the worst case scenario, the worst case is, okay, you just go back to what you were doing. Like, if you're working a serving job and you're like, I want to start a business and quit my serving job, okay, do that. Worst case, what, it doesn't work out and you need to make money again, then you just go back to your serving job. So if the worst case scenario is literally where you were at to begin with, then you don't have any risk. Now, of course, there are circumstances where, like if you're, thinking about leaving a relationship or quitting a job that was like kind of hard to get, like that you can't go back and you can't, reverse that change. So that is a little bit more nerve-wracking. But I think when you look big picture, you start to realize there are so many jobs out there. You're gonna make money again. If you really want to get back into a certain field, you can do that. You're gonna be in a relationship again. You're gonna find someone right for you. That's just because you were in one relationship and you question whether leaving it was the right decision or not, doesn't mean you're not gonna find someone else that is gonna love you equally, if not more, and be a better fit for you. There's like 7 billion people in the world. So don't be afraid to make tough choices just because you're worried about what you're gonna lose. But if there's a small chance that like what you want is achievable and your life can get better, then you have everything to gain by making that tough choice. So yeah, a really good exercise that I do now is when I'm trying to make a decision, I always think like, what's the worst case scenario? And when we were in Europe, we had we obviously not everything went smoothly, and we had a couple times where we thought we're gonna miss our flight. One airline actually went bankrupt and like our whole flight then didn't happen, so we had to rebook. And it gets stressful, but then when you think about, okay, well, worst case scenario, okay, we're running late for this flight. The worst case is you miss it and you just buy another ticket. Like, I don't know, tickets there, the airlines aren't that expensive, so it's like gonna be like $100, max $200 for a new flight. And you're like, okay, that's not that bad. Like, it could be so much worse. Or even just the fact that we went on this trip. I know my sister was a bit worried, like what if she didn't like it or she got homesick or something went wrong. If anything goes wrong, you just fly home. You just go back to your life that you had left. And that's like that perfect example of the worst case is you go back to exactly where you were at, exactly how life was. And the best case is, the trip goes amazingly and we love it and we never want to leave or something, and we're just happy and thriving, which we had an amazing time. So yeah, I guess to like summarize that whole last lesson would be like, always think about what the worst case scenario is. And if it's not that bad, take the risk, take the leap, or for whatever it is that you're doing in life. So thanks guys for watching this video. I hope you found these like 3 life lessons that I learned while traveling useful for your life, and hopefully you're able to apply them. Lastly, don't forget to subscribe because I'm putting out videos every week now, and I'd love to have you join my YouTube family. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!